Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Boquerón in Paraguay. As you can see, it's a very large region. It's the largest in Paraguay, actually. Bordering Bolivia, which is very important to its history, and also Argentina. Now, by far the most important geographic aspect of Boquerón is the Chaco. You can see the area here is called the Gran Chaco. It's a little busy, but you'll see. Make sure you can see. There we go. G-R-A-N-C-H-A-C-O. The Gran Chaco, which, as you can see, goes into Argentina and a bit up into Bolivia over here before you hit the Andes over there. The Gran Chaco. What is the Gran Chaco? Now, we discussed the Chaco in length, and if I recall, we looked at it on Google Earth also. Yeah, I remember. When we talked about Alto Paraguay up here. So I'll link the whole Paraguay playlist up there if you want to learn more about the Chaco and actually see it. We're not going to go to Google Earth tonight, fortunately, because there's pretty much no pictures here. And why is that? Well, the Chaco region is pretty semi-arid. It's a pretty desolate region. What would I compare it to? I'm not sure. I almost want to say like the Pampas, but that's also in Argentina. If you wonder why I'm brushing the map, you'll have to watch to find out, because I already filmed the second segment. You'll have to find out. It is, I want to say like dry scrub plants, things like that. But due to the many rivers that are around here, it's very well irrigated, so there's plenty of farmland here as well, and many cattle ranches mostly. Those wide open spaces are perfect for cattle grazing, isn't it? So yeah, that is the Chaco. The capital of this region is Philadelphia. I like that, but it's spelled a little different. Philadelphia, right there. It's a pretty small place, but it's the capital, because it's the biggest place here next to its namesake Boquerón. You can see right there, Boquerón. All the other little settlements you see here are pretty much just little farm areas, little farm centers. Now, the population here is pretty unique. There's very few places like this in the world. Which the name Philadelphia is pretty apt, because the place that's most like this in the United States where I live is in Pennsylvania, and we have Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. I wonder if that's why they named it that. Maybe. But the population here doesn't primarily speak Spanish. They do not primarily speak English. They do not primarily speak Portuguese. They primarily speak German. It's German here in South America. And that is because they are Mennonites. Now, what are Mennonites? In the United States, we call them the Amish. I'm sure they go by other names around the world, but these people are Mennonites. They originally came from what's now Russia. It was once a German region that was conquered by Imperial Russia back in Catherine the Great days, long ago, but they retained their ways for all that time, pretty much until the Soviet Union took power, and a majority of them fled. A large group fled to Canada, where once they were able to, they relocated to this area in Paraguay in the 1920s. Even more would come from Russia in the 1930s, and many more after World War II. The Mennonites are simple people. They live off the land. They do not believe in using any modern technology. They use horse-drawn carts. They wear handmade clothes, straw hats. And they make their living off of farming. And they are deeply religious in their version of Christianity. Men grow big old beards, women wear bonnets to cover their hair, long dresses, and just live very simple, down-to-earth lives. I've actually seen some Amish people before, and they're kind of funny stories. I'll tell you one. They all happened on trains, by the way. So it's like, I wonder if the Amish in America just do their large travel by train? I don't know, because they don't use cars. They don't believe in the cars or the internet or anything like that. But let me tell you a little story real quick. We were on a train. I believe we were going to Chicago. And we were going from California to Chicago, I want to say. And these two girls got on not long after we left the Bay Area, and they were Amish. They had caps on, they had their long dresses, long sleeves, farm dresses, and they sat nice and quiet until we got into Nevada and we started to reach Reno. And I watched these girls across the way take off their bonnets, take off their dresses, and underneath they had these mini dresses. They put on high heels, they did their makeup and their hair real quick, and they got off in Reno. And I was like, what did I just watch? It must have been, I forget what it's called. I'll flash it on the screen. But they have a tradition for the young people to go out for one night and live like a person of the rest of the world. And then after that night, they decide if they want to rejoin their family or stay out in the rest of the world. I forget what it's called, but I'll put it on the screen. I wonder if that's what I saw. They looked great, by the way. Oh my gosh, they looked amazing. Not that they didn't before, but just that 20-minute transformation. I was like, holy moly, they looked just gorgeous. But anyway, I'm not going to tell you my anecdotes about the Amish. If you want to squeeze the other one out of me, I guess you'll have to do it in like live trivia or something. But anyway, the only real historical thing other than the Mennonites moving here that I found in this area is the Chaco War, which we also discussed in Alto Paraguay because it was very fiercely fought here. It wasn't really so much fought in this area, or I should say that there were battles here, but I think they just left the Mennonites alone. I don't think that the population was affected too much by the war. But the war was between Paraguay and Bolivia over here. Because when South America was established, once they gained independence from the Spanish, Portuguese, borders were very iffy. And borders to all these countries weren't really established until I want to say like the 1950s. And all of the countries here would have very extensively huge border wars. Like Peru and Chile had border wars, Peru, Bolivia and Chile, Brazil, and everyone else. Uruguay exists because it had a breakaway from Argentina. There were so many different border wars all throughout South America. There's even technically one that could spark any minute between Venezuela and Guyana up there, but that's a different story. So that was a border war, and it was fought in the Chaco region, hence the name the Chaco War. It was pretty devastating, but it ended with Paraguay being able to control most of the Gran Chaco here, drawing this line. And that's pretty much all that I have for you for tonight in terms of history. This is just farmland. It's all farmland, so there's no real pictures here. You can head over to Google Earth and look around for yourself. Let me know if you find any, and let us know down in the comments if you find any good pictures that aren't just of plants in the sand. Or just barns, pretty much. Let us know if you find anything, and we'll go take a look. But I thought about what could I do for the little sound portion of the video, since we're not doing a Google Earth portion, and I thought I would go get my gardening tools and show you my gardening tools, because surely there's lots of gardening that happens here as well. If you don't know, in my life, my family and I recently bought this house in Idaho, and it has a big front yard and a little backyard. When I say big, I mean it's not huge, but it's a big. It's got two big old trees in it and lots of grass. And I haven't had a yard since I was like a child. So we're so excited to get a yard so that we can garden in it and figure out whatever we want to do with this outdoor space, you know. But apparently the people that lived in this house didn't live in it for over a year, according to our neighbor. So the lawn is all overgrown. The plants are all disarray. I think most of them are dead, to be honest. But we went out and got gardening tools, and I've started digging in the flower beds and around the trees to try to see what I can salvage and figure out how we can make it our own. So that's been my adventure in the past few weeks since spring began. And it's so much fun. It's so rewarding. It's a chore. It's very tedious, but when I sit back and look at my work, I'm like, wow, I'm a gardener. I'm gardening. So I'm going to show you my little gardening tools that I use when I'm working in the flower beds. I hope you like it. But thank you so much for watching. Let me just do an outro before that. If you enjoy this style of content, please consider subscribing. Tomorrow we will have a Google Earth portion because we are going to Serbia. Beautiful, beautiful Serbia. We're going to see some amazing sights along the Danube, including the oldest known town in Europe. Or at least what's left of it. It's an archaeological site. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. You want to see the Iron Gates on the Danube for sure. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. 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 These are my gardening gloves. They feel like dishwashing gloves. Just why I like them. I'm used to this kind of like texture. They're rubbery on the palms and fingers and soft on the outside, so they're breathable. I have lots of space in the fingers. They have pretty flowers on them. I have flowers like these growing in my garden right now. Really pretty. My cats are running around. Can you hear them? Let me show you some of my gardening tools. These are the main ones that I use. I just realized I forgot to grab one. I'll have to do a cut and grab it after I show you these three. So here's the one that I use the most. This is my spade / shovel. This is what I use to dig into the dirt. And I pull up dead plants with the pointy bit here. It has a nice grip right here so I can grab it, dig real good cats. My cats are literally, they started rolling around in the room, but oh well. What do you think this does? This is a weeder. You can see all the dirt I've got stuck in there because you put the weed right in here like this and you pull up, and it gets the weed and the roots out. Our yard's full of dandelions right now, which is sad because dandelions are cute, but our lawn is like dying because of them. So we're trying to pull out as many as possible. And this guy helps out a ton, makes it so easy. This is probably like the best tool that when we're out shopping for tools. I put this in our cart and my brother-in-law's like, what is that? Why are you grabbing that? And I'm like, you'll see. And then he used it once and he's like, oh, I get it now. And look at all the dirt that's just wedged. If I can get some out. Hey cats. They're crazy right now. Of course, they were literally sleeping when I started. And then I got up to start filming and they started going crazy. Thank you, cats, for the added background noise. And that this has a little thumb area too, so you can really get in there and weed out all the weeds. Oh, I got it. Where's my dirt? Oh no. It's all over Paraguay and Brazil. Hold on. All the cats are going crazy. I got dirt all over Brazil and Paraguay. Sorry, Brazil and Paraguay. Sorry, Mato Grosso. Sorry, Paraná. Sorry, Sao Paulo. Just today's vacuuming day, so I'm just gonna put it on the carpet. Okay. 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 Here's tool number 3. Oops. My spade's on top of it. There we go. Is this guy. I would call this a hoe, but the tag had a different name for it. So I don't know if the smaller version has a different name. Ooh. So this tool I use when I'm digging in the flower beds and trying to get rid of the layer of leaves and pine needles up at the top. And it helps aerate the soil too, gets all of the good soil that's packed down in the bottom layers up and like kind of mixed up. I don't really use this that much, but when I do, I only use it for like 10 seconds and then the job is done because it works really well. It's got 1, 2, 3 big prongs and 1, 2, 3 big points. And like the others, there's a space here for my thumb, so I can really dig into the soil. Sometimes when I dig, I find worms, and I'm finding lots and lots of beetles, little black beetles, and then really big beetles. I've never seen beetles that size outside of like an insect exhibit at a zoo. They're so big, and they are jet black, like as black as this, living underground under all the mulch and nonsense at the top of the garden. It's like, sorry to disrupt your home, but it's a temporary construction. I'm trying to make it better for you. Better for all the worms in there. That soil is nice and fresh. I don't know, what do you think the worms would like more? The old mulchy soil on top, or the fresh, wet soil at the bottom? See, I think they'd like the bottom. resemblance, right? Isn't that cute? We're gonna see Topple on Friday, so stay tuned for Topple content. So this is my happy watering can. It's only $2. And it's pretty small, but it holds so much water in there. And then it comes out of his big old trunk. You just tip him over like a teapot. It's so cute. Look, he's an African elephant. He even has his tail back here. Isn't this the cutest watering can? It's so neat. I had to have this. This is perfect for me personally. Oh, happy. Look how happy. Big smile. So I use this to water the wildflowers and the tulips and daisies that are growing in our yard. Well, in the flower bed. For the lawn, we have a big hose that we just spray on the grass when it's not a rainy day. But this I just use for the flowers and for the little rose bush that I found. I hope it's not dead, so I'm gonna water it like, I think I read it's like 2 to 3 times a week. I'm gonna try that for like 2-3 months and see if the rose bush grows at all. Because it kind of looks dead. I hope it's not, because roses would be so fun to grow. It's fun to see the tulips growing because the first ones that bloomed were yellow, and then another batch bloomed and they were pink, like this color pink of these flowers there. So cute. I'm obsessed with my watering can. If I could have all elephant gardening tools, I would. All elephant themed. Right, so that is the tour of my gardening, my main gardening tools. I have other smaller ones, but I figured I'd just show you the ones I use the most. Or really just the ones I think would be tinkliest. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed my little gardening tour. Maybe this will inspire you to garden a little bit, if you can.